Hey everyone, it's Kim, Angel Dream Crafts, and I am here to share with you a tutorial today. This kind of just happened the other day, and I was so happy with how they came out. I wanted to share with you guys how to do these. They're really simple and easy, but you get really beautiful little embellishments with these. So this is what you end up with. And they are beautiful images of queens, but you can use any image, and they've got little beads in them and rhinestones. They're super cute and pretty and very reflective because I've covered them in glossy accents. So I'm going to show you guys how to use these, how to make them, how to use them on things, and yeah, they're a lot of fun to do, and you can make quite a few really quickly, and I think they will just look amazing on projects. And I actually used one last night for a flower center. So here is a little just muslin flower, and it needs a bit of fluffing, and I used this image of Queen Victoria for the flower center. So I think they're super pretty. So let me share with you what I did. Now these ones here I actually used, oh here it is. Let me take these off of here first. These ones were drying last night. I used these, which are Rinchies, and they're ATC sort of embellishment things, but they're 1-inch circles. They're called Rinchies, and these are made by Crescent. So I've been using those, but if you don't have those, I used my scallop circle punch. You can use a regular circle punch. And I cut out some cardboard, chipboard, and then the image. Now I had this sheet of images like this, all different queens. So they were a good size anyway, but the Rinchies are only 1-inch, and this is only 1-inch, so I had to cut the image down a little bit. But if you have a bigger punch, or if you just want to make your circles bigger, you could use the whole image. But again, they don't even have to be circle images. You can just use any image you like. If it's a butterfly, you can use that. You can use your like graphic 45 paper, whatever paper you have. If there's a neat little flower on it or something, you could cut that out and make that into one of these embellishments. So anything goes with these. These are just the images that I had, and I'm going to share with you what I did. So I'm going to do some on the chipboard, and then I'm going to do 2 on the Rinchies here, just to get a few more made because I think they're adorable, so I'm going to want to use them on everything. And what you need for this project is a punch or a pair of scissors, and cut yourself out some circles. You need images. You need glossy accents. You will need some foil, but if you don't have foil, don't worry about it. They still look pretty without the foil. I've got lots of foil, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And the foil that I got when I was designing for Scrap Perfect, and they have these packets of foil on their website. It's scrapperfect.com. And I also am using their brand of glue, which is the best glue ever. And really, this is the best paper glue ever. I love this stuff. It's well used, as you can see. I'm nearly out. I have to get more. But it's my favorite paper glue. So you need the glossy accents and some kind of paper glue. Now, I know the best glue ever works for the foils, so you know, if you're going to use foils, I would check the glue and make sure that it's going to work with your foils. But I know that this stuff does work. So that's what I'm using. And then you need some seed beads, glitter glass, anything like that. And I've even got these little embellishments that I came across the other day in my embellishment drawer that I've had forever. They're like polymer clay canes. And some of them are super, super tiny, so I've been putting them on because I had them. So anything in your stash that's small you could use. So let me just get a little drink of water. Okay, and then we'll get started. So the first step is, let me move these, all of these out of the way. I've got quite a few here that I did last night. Oh yes, and you're also going to need little scraps of fabric, and I'll explain why you need that in a minute. So, getting started, I think I'll zoom in a little more just so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay, I think we're good there. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is take your punched out pieces and you're going to place them on top of your cardboard. Now I'm going to put the bigger pieces that I haven't punched out yet on the harder, the wrinchies, and the ones that are scalloped edge I'll put on the scallops. So all you're going to do is glue those down. So let me get some glue here. And probably this is clogged, so I'm going to have to poke it with a pin. Oh, no, it's not. What do you know? So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down and then my image. And if it's not even on your cardboard, you don't have to worry about it because your foil covers up all kinds of things that if you make mistakes or something, the foil actually is really, these are very forgiving embellishments. So these ones are down. And if you wanted this to be a thicker embellishment, you could just use thicker cardstock or double it up or something. So I want to get her face mostly. So I glue these down first, even though they don't fit, and then I cut around it when they're dry, or sort of dry. So let me just put that there for a minute. I love these images. I'm a real royalist, so I love anything to do with queens and royalty. This is one of my favorite images of Queen Victoria. I just love that. It's so pretty. Okay, so they're down. So now I'm just going to take my little scissors. Make sure that's really on there. And I'm just going to cut around it. And again, if I mess up, and I'm actually probably going to purposely mess that up a bit just to show you. Okay, so you can see there's quite a bit of white showing around there, but I'm going to cover that with foil. You won't even notice it. So there's that. So this is like step one, so just cutting and gluing. And these ones I didn't have to cut around because I used my punch, so that's easier, but okay, so now what I want to do, I'm going to use my glue again because this I want to get a little tacky. So I want to go around all on that white edge, around the edge. I hope you can see. I'm just kind of holding it in the middle, and I'm going to put white glue wherever that white is showing, and around the edge. Piece of fuzz. Just around the edges there. And then set that down and move on to my next one. Let that get tacky for a minute. I may use my heat gun a little bit just to dry the glue a bit faster for this tutorial, but normally I would just let it air dry. And this glue is, like I said, my favorite paper crafting glue. Now these ones that don't have anything showing, that's okay. I'm still gonna put some glue around the edges, maybe a little on her dress. Just kind of move it around. And you don't need much of this glue. And any glue that you get anywhere on there, the foil's going to stick to. So try and not get it, you know, I'll show you mine that I did last night. Some of them went a little wonky, but they still turned out pretty cool. Okay, so that's that one. And then all the way around on this one as well. So if you don't get glue somewhere, the foil will not stick to that. So last one. This is Marie Antoinette. Seems to be a popular queen for everybody. Okay, so there we go with that. So I'm just going to quickly heat dry those just to speed up the tutorial. So heat gun, it may not be, you may want to mute yourself for a second while I'm using it. So just so it's not so loud. So I'm just going to dry these a little bit. Oops. Okay. And that came up a bit, but it'll go back down. Okay, so now we're ready to do the foiling. So I think what I'm going to do is, yesterday I had done some, you can see here, this is another Marie one, and it got quite a bit of glue on it, and you can see there's a lot of foiling on there. And I used a pink foil for that one. And I do like how it came out. It makes, they kind of remind me of like old coins or something in this stage. This is one I did with silver. So they all look really nice. So I think for this one, I'm going to use, well, I think I've got some blue foil here, so I think I'm going to do some blue on that Marie Antoinette one. And maybe we'll just do a few different colors. And I love this package from Scrap Perfect because you get lots of different choices in your foil. Lots of different colors, I mean. Come out. Okay. I'll just put that over there. So when you're foiling, you don't want to put your piece down on the colored side. You need to put it down on the wrong side, which I know sounds strange, but that is the way it works. So I'm just placing, and then you put your piece face down on it. And because it's sticky and tacky from the glue, I just kind of squish this around it. And you'll see on this side that the foil is starting to stick to it. So you want to kind of scratch it a little bit with your nails, make sure that the foil is coming off. And then you want to pull it off. And yeah, there is some on her face, but that's okay. Again, they look old and worn and like old coins in a way. So now I'm just kind of rolling that to make sure I've got the sides covered. So that's that one done. So what other colors? Let's do gold. I've got quite a bit of gold foil here, you can see. So I'm going to do a couple on here. I can do a couple at a time, maybe 3. I'll put that one there. So now that I've got these 3 on here, I'm just going to kind of squish them around, let the foil pick up. You can see on this side, it is taking the foil. And I want to make sure all the edges get covered. Whoops, I'm really not in shot, am I? Sorry about that. Just want to kind of rub it with your nail. And my wonderful husband just brought me a coffee. Yay! Thanks, honey. Sip of coffee.
You're welcome, dear.
Okay. Coffee. Okay, so now we're going to pull these off, and that got quite a bit. Now see, that one's got quite a bit on her face, which I don't really care for, so I'm just going to take my nail and see if I can scratch a little bit of that off. And yes, that will come off. But again, it doesn't really matter because they're embellishments, so you can sort of make out her face behind it anyway. So there, that's a little better. And I like the distressed look of it, really. Let's see what this one's like. Okay, this one I need to get a bit more on. Let me just roll that around a bit more. So if you don't have foil, what you could do is paint the edges with gesso, or if you have like gold metallic paint or any color metallic paint, you could use that. So there's that one. So yeah, if you don't have foil, you can still do this project. Just use what you've got in your craft room. Paints, embossing powder would be nice on these too. You could just put a little bit of embossing powder on them. Okay, I'm missing one. Stuck to the foil. Oh well, we might as well do her gold too. Why not? Get her on there. But any color goes on these. Okay, so they're all foiled now. So let me just put these foils to one side, and we'll get on to the next part. Put those up there. Okay. Sip of coffee. All right, so now we need a bit of a flat surface. So I'm going to take my packaging here. That's what I used yesterday. And I'm just going to put these on here now. Nope, don't stick to each other. So there's our pieces that have been cut and foiled. You can see there's quite a bit of cool glitter on that. So now we go to the glossy accent portion of this tutorial. And what we are going to do, hopefully this isn't clogged either, is we're going to cover the whole top of each of these little discs with glossy accents to get that nice sheen on top. So all you do is just kind of squeeze, and you want to go all the way around. And if you get air bubbles with your glossy accents, you just take a little pin and poke the air bubble and it will come out. Okay, I'm at 20 minutes, so hopefully this won't be too much longer. If you do a whole bunch of these, like in a row, then you know, you can just do what I did, like do all the cutting, do all the pasting, do all the foiling, do all the glossy accents. Then, you know, it's like assembly line type of thing. You can really get a lot of these done. I did tons last night, as you will see in a second. So I'm just going to keep on, and you want to make sure everything on top gets covered, because if you don't cover it, you'll end up with like a blotchy glossy accent, which if you like that look, that's fine. I prefer mine to be all covered. Make sure I've gotten everything. And these take probably about an hour or two to dry. You just have to kind of leave them and let them dry. I've got some ready to show you in a minute. Okay, let me just get this on here. I think that's clogged again. This happens with Glossy Accents. It clogs quite a bit. That's better. So you want to go right to the edge of these. And that also seals your image and your foiling as well. And I love Glossy Accents. It's one of the staples in my craft room because I use it for so many things. I use it for gluing. I love it for gluing like beads to fabric because it really stays. I don't have to worry about them falling off. They stay really well. A little more. Okay, I think I've pretty much got... Oh, no, there's a little spot there. Just check for air bubbles and make sure everything is completely covered or it will look a little uneven. Yeah, that's pretty good. There's a spot there. Okay, so now everything is completely covered with the Glossy Accents. So we can put the Glossy Accents aside. So now this is where your glitter glass and your seed beads and your little tiny embellishments come in, which I want to use. Oh, actually, we're going to use the Glossy Accents again. Another step after this, which I will show you. So let me just dump some of these out. And I have tweezers here because putting tiny little embellishments on these is a little bit difficult. So I've got these, and some of them I even cut some rhinestone trim to put on, which I may do that actually. You go there. Remove that. So I'm just going to cut a couple of little rhinestones, just using, and this rhinestone trim you can get at Craft Supplies for You. She has it in stock. I get mine from her because she's got the best price on it. So we're just going to cut 5 of those, maybe. Maybe one will have 2 pieces. I love rhinestone chain. This kind of adds the extra sparkle, the rhinestones. Come on, there we go. I love adding it to embellishments, rhinestones. Just makes it sparkly and pretty. One more. Okay. So we will be back to the rhinestone trim in a moment. But right now, what we want to do while the Glossy Accents are wet, we want to add our little tiny embellishments. So I've got some really cute little pieces here. I'm going to use my tweezers to pick them up and place them because it's just, you have more control then. So I'm going to put a little flower here. And you just want to kind of gently tap it in there. And the little rhinestones, same thing. I would recommend using tweezers for these. So we'll put that in her hair and then, whoops. That fell. Okay. So now we're just going to add to her crown here. You do have a few moments before this gets set to add this kind of stuff. So I'm just going to put that one there on the side. Not sure who that queen is. I don't know who some of them are. I know that this one here in the middle is Queen Elizabeth's mother. That's the Queen Mum when she was very young. And of course, I recognize Queen Victoria and Marie Antoinette. But I'm not sure who some of the other ladies are. Maybe you guys know. So I'm going to put that one there. And let's see, do I have, yes, I have a little flower here. Let's add this one right there. Make it look like a button on her dress. And what else do I have? I have this one, which might look pretty right there. We'll give Marie two, because she was always, you know, over the top, right? There's a small one. We'll put this one here beside the rhinestone. And then for Queen Elizabeth's or Queen Victoria's crown, we'll do a little red one on either side of the rhinestones. Just to be fancy. I have a friend who loves Queen Victoria too. We're actually doing a Queen Victoria swap. So you'll probably see that happening in a while. Okay, so let me put these away so I don't lose them. And then we're going to move on to the glitter glass and the little micro beads and things like that, and just kind of sprinkle those on top. Oops, I think I lost one. Shoot. I probably should have put these in a dish. That would have been smarter. But hey ho. Okay. It's cool when you find things in your stash that you haven't used forever, and then you go, hey, that would work for that project. Okay, so now we're going to add just a couple of little, these are very, very tiny beads by American Crafts. They're called pop beads, and they're micro beads. So I just take a tiny little bit and just kind of sprinkle them, and this adds a little bit of texture on top. I try to keep it away from the face, but you know, if they land there, they land there. What are you going to do, right? You don't want to add a lot. And then I've got some green glitter glass here, which I like using too. So I'm going to add a little bit here, just on the base there. Let's put some here too. Just gives it a bit of sparkle. So that, and maybe a couple of little glass beads. These are turquoise by Prima, these ones. So we'll just add a couple to Marie here. Maybe one over here. Just give it a little push. So that's it. That's how I embellish those. Just going to add a few more. Just scatter them. So the next step is to add rhinestones. And what I do is I take one of these. Now these are not dry, so I can't. So I'm going to show you one that is dried, which is this one here. This is completely dried, and all the steps that you've just seen, that's what it ends up looking like. So I'm going to set these aside to dry. And what I want to do now is add the rhinestone trim around it so they can end up looking pretty like that. So I just used a little scrap piece of fabric, and I did that because I wanted the rhinestones not to stick to the piece. They needed their own base, and I just thought it would, you know, be more long lasting. This one's completely done, and you can see It's just on a little muslin back. It finishes the back off nicely, and the rhinestones have something to stick to. So that's what it looks like in the end. So all I did was I took my Glossy Accents, just put, excuse me, a little bit down on the back, put my piece down, and then I went all the way around the edge with some Glossy Accents. Hopefully you can still see me. So I've gone around there, the edge. Whoops. Then I took my Rhinestone Trim. And if you don't have Rhinestone Trim, you could do anything around them. You could use baker's twine, even. I've got some baker's twine. You could use this around it. That would work. Maybe some yarn would work. I've got some colorful yarn here. Maybe that would work. If you were doing like a boho embellishment, you could go around the edge with that. Just check your stash and see what you've got. But if you are looking for rhinestone trim, I get this from KS4U, like I said, and she has the best prices on it. So all I did was I laid my trim down, and you want to make sure that your rhinestones sit flat and don't kind of flip to the side. And I just kind of brought it around, laying it flat as I went. See, that wants to flip, so it's got to sit flatter. And then I went around. Come on, fingers, work. And then when I got to the end, I saw where I needed to cut it, so I just got my little wire cutters there and snipped it. Okay. And then laid it back down. And then I set this aside to dry. So there you have it. And that's where it just sits on that little piece of fabric to dry. So I'm just going to set that there. And that is where we're at here. These ones are all dried. So then, of course, all you do is go around it with your scissors. I think these ones should work. And I just kind of got very, very close to the rhinestones, not going under it, because again, you don't want to cut that base off there because you want the rhinestones to stay down. You don't want them to fall off. So these are not the best scissors for this. These are my paper scissors, so they don't like to cut fabric. So that's it, and finito. So that is what you get, guys, with that little tutorial. I hope you'll give these a try, because look at how fantastic these are. I absolutely love them. I think they would be pretty on so many projects. They're just gorgeous, and they're sparkly. I'm sure, you know, little fun embellishments to send out as a gift to somebody. You know, I'd be happy to receive those myself. So I hope you'll give these a try. I really enjoyed making them. And yeah, let me know what you think. And if you make some, message me and send me some photos. I'd love to see your work. So hope you're all having a great day. Give these a try, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.